Colin Luft on X asks, has Josh Sargent cemented himself as striker number 3 for the Copa roster? 8 goals in 12 games in the championship so far this season. Hasn't missed a beat since returning from injury.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, so I think, what was it? Last year we did a striker power rankings or something like that. And, when I start thinking about that striker position, I think that up until 2026, it is going to be a continual open position and therefore a continual competition for that striker thing. And so I do think what Josh Sargent has done, and we've talked about this before, is going to justify his call-ups from Greg Berhalter. And I do think that Greg Berhalter and his staff have a lot of time for Josh Sargent. And, his, 8 goals now for Norwich, I think that's great. He is doing what any national team coach would want you to do in a club situation in order to show that you have progressed and evolved. And I think for Josh in particular, he has gotten to be a better soccer player. And we'll see if that translates. So, yes, he's in the mix. I disagree with Taylor Twellman in that I don't think that Balogun is the starter. Right now. Maybe in the future it happens, and maybe after all this competition, when it's all is said and done, that Balogun wins out. And maybe that's what Taylor was saying. But I don't think right now that you look at Balogun and say, you're the incumbent. I think that you have Sargent, you have Balogun, you have Pepe, you have Vasquez, who you mentioned. You even have, some players coming along like Booth, or maybe even though we've kind of said that the train's left the station with the Haji Wright, you keep scoring goals, you're not going to be able to ignore him. And it's in particular with the striker position and people scoring goals. And then you have that next group that, is starting up their MLS season here with Jesus Ferreira and I guess even Jordan Morris, White, Maguire, these types of players that potentially could come around in this next couple of years and do some things to really put their name into that competition. But I do think it's going to be a competition. I don't think it is going to be handed to Balogun as quickly and as easily and without as big a fight as people make it out to be. That's actually not necessarily a bad thing. Adding Balogun to the mix, I think, is wonderful. But I think that there are going to be others, either the ones that we just mentioned or maybe some others coming up that we haven't mentioned, that are going to say, not so fast.
Be interesting to see how many strikers there are on the Copa roster. Colin is presuming there's going to be a third. Not so sure about that.
Yeah, so Balogun, Sargent, and then it gets interesting if there is one, to your point, and who that is with, like I said, the Pepes and the Vasquez and stuff like that coming through. And look, people can yell and scream, but Jesus Ferreira is still in the mix. And I do think that, here's a guy that was starting in the World Cup here. And yes, it can change dramatically even this far away from it, but you never know.
If he had been knocking in goals for Spartak Moscow, he'd be my starter, but he was deprived of that move, and so...
Oh.
You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops twice a week right here on my very own YouTube page. The only way to stay up to date is to hit that subscribe button down below. Size the day, and see you soon.